Hello, Durud and Shalom. We be live. Hi, Monkey.
Hello, Durut Shalom and Ola.
And hola, exactly. Don't forget the hola. Let me actually bring the chat on my um over here as well so I can see everybody. Where is it? Which one is it? I think it's this one. There we go. Found it. Okay, guys. All right, everybody here. How are you guys? How's everyone doing? Look at this. I have a video from President Trump directly talking to the Iranian people. This was from yesterday, and this segment is very important because this is the. We all remember when President Trump came out and talked to the Iranian people and told them to basically rise up, and this is the opportunity to take their, you know, their destiny into their own hands. And that was a direct call by President Trump to the Iranian people. And since then, this is the second time now that he's addressing the Iranian people. Uh, Let me actually play this for you guys and let me know what you guys think. This is a big deal. He's reaching out to Iranian people directly.
I would say this. I think people were wrong. I never thought, unless they could be completely armed, I never thought they'd have that kind of an uprising because these people are violent. The so-called leadership is very violent.
They're killers.
They killed 52,000. How about the wrestler? You know, the wrestler is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Oh, wait.
They killed him and his two friends just because he spoke not even that badly about the regime.
They're crazy. Keep killing them because they're going to kill their.
Wait, this is our country wants to help. So this is the quote by President Trump, right? So that was not in the video, but this is the quote. Wait, let me find the source of this quote. Yeah, so these words are direct from President Trump. Where did he say that? Because
there's a longer version of this. I've seen a longer version.
Yeah, I played the longer version of this, but I think this is a quote. I have to see where this is. But here's the quote from President Trump. I just checked, and yeah, this is his quote. Our country wants to help you, and we want to see it all work out. We have people ready, willing, and able. That's up to you. God bless Iran. Where is this quote from? I'm trying to find this direct quote. I'll find it for you guys, where the source is, but that's not it. Okay. I have to turn to. Okay, so here's the source actually. Warfront witness on. Okay, on Oliver. Okay, so this was somebody talked to President Trump and quoted him. I will find the source of this quote by President Trump, but for now, what do you think about this, Monkey?
Well, I've heard the full quote, and I think it's it's a show of support and a show of admiration, right? Because he was like, look, no one's gonna go against these people because these people are murderers, they're psychopaths. But when he saw that despite their disadvantage, right, that the people rose up and went against them, despite all the disadvantage, I think that it showed him a great amount of courage on the part of the Iranian people against the IRGC, and he greatly admires that, and that that affected him a little. Now, what I would say, like I said before, that doesn't mean that we're going to be up in the air right now, on the ground or like right over the air doing operations to coordinate with the protest. I don't think that's happening right now. I think it's very dangerous to go out there believing that. You have to go out there being very cautious, very cognizant, watch your corners, stay away from choke points, don't go near any government buildings, don't go near any government police or stations, bases, stay away from all that stuff. Like, whatever you're going to do, be very cognizant of choke points, be very cognizant of ways that vehicles would be approaching you. That's what I would say, just from a grunt infantry perspective. But I think he has great admiration because he knows the disadvantage that the Iranians faced. He knows they know, because these are some of the most intelligent people in all the Middle East. This is just IQ facts, right? So he knows the bravery that it took to be out there, and he admired it greatly.
Okay, people are saying this was a Truth Social post, so I'm trying to find the Truth Social post where he said this, because this is a very important quote. I just want to make sure I get it right. But I'll keep looking for it. But let's go to the next video of President Trump. These were yeah, so this one, so guys, for the people who might have missed it yesterday, Trump did vow heavy strikes on the regime. So we have seen that as promised yesterday, and then later on we saw. I know it's still only on southern Iran, but the blows are so much bigger than before. Like, this is not your average fiery ceasefire. The attacks are so heavy right now on southern Iran that many analysts, I don't know if they're correct about this, they're saying that this is preparation for some ground operations by the Marines. I don't know if they're right or not, but the intensity has increased significantly. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. And Monkey, if you can, when people give their opinions, maybe at
Keep
the
an eye
beginning
out.
of the show, or just maybe start them.
I'll keep an eye out.
a
I'll
few of
start.
them. Yeah, thank you.
From my
you-
perspective, I would tell you that if you're hitting military bases and you're specifically hitting the military bases that would support any southern entry or taking of southern islands, well, that would be important. That would be significant. You got to look at the type of target and what that target does. If you're hitting bases in the south, that is significant, because that's more than you're hitting more than their quick reactionary force. You're hitting their base. Like, they would have a reactionary force with missiles, with Shaheds, with might be mobile, radar systems. To hit those is one thing. It's a little different to hit bases, specifically bases that you've been able to hit a long time and haven't, and then you start hitting those. That I would consider that a shift, because you're hitting harder targets.
Right. Yes. Let me see. We got a question here saying. So Todd is saying, Armin and Monkey, what do you think about the idea of delivering arms to the Iranian people via unarmed drones? In theory, couldn't you deliver them to a specific location, to a specific context? Would I mean, how would you vet those people and train? Wouldn't you need to vet those people and train them? And wouldn't it be difficult to vet people, over the, I don't know, Monkey, wouldn't these people need to be trained first? And wouldn't they need to be vetted?
This is
Maybe
the
they
only
can't
way
be
I
vetted.
see it. This is the only way I see something like this happen. You have had contact for a long time with I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm saying this is what would lay the groundwork for that. Let's say you've had contact with some Artesh people that have shown you their loyalty by showing you targets, and they raise the lion and sun. And because we did see this at the beginning, but all of us know it's not the right time to pop out, because they would be against you. They would run to you, because Artesh was never trusted. And let's say you have some kind of military, and I'm not saying this is what's happened. I'm just saying this is one possibility, because they're somewhat trained. If they could show loyalty, and they have showed loyalty, they've been vetted for months, but we don't know, because this is all behind the scenes. That's the only possibility where I see they could receive some supply. But this would have to be highly vetted. It would have to have the go ahead from the CIA and Mossad, because they are very much closer on the ground than us. That's the only way I see it, and I don't see a large scale force of that. But if I've had to steel man that position, that's how I would do it, because they have to be trained. Just giving people guns, they might just hurt themselves, not know what they're doing, hurt each other. You need training to handle a firearm.
Yeah. Also, I think they mostly need drones more than firearms. But hey, Monkey, look at this. I asked Gemini to research and find me the source of this quote. You know what Gemini is telling me? And this is by Maria Nafal, who I don't really like at all. But look at this. Gemini is telling me, whoever showed you that stitched together. So first of all, it's saying, I can't give you a link to something that doesn't exist. Gemini is getting angry with me, saying that quote is a complete fake. So Gemini is telling me that this quote is a complete fake. whoever showed you that stitched together totally different things Trump has said to make up a phony post. Here's the actual reality of where those phrases came from. So one is from June 24th, 2025, and the other one is from July 2026. And it's saying this person who posted this quote stitched together different quotes, saying the post you're quoting was fabricated by someone mashing these completely different events together. There is no direct source link because Trump never actually posted it. Wow. And also he posted this quote and he posted this video, making us think that this quote is in this video, and then we played the video and the quote is not in the video, and it's already got like 500,000 views, 8,000 likes, and it's not a real quote that does not exist in this video. Interesting.
Yeah, that's why I was looking for the other video, because I was like, that's not the video I saw. That's a little shorter. Like this is a very
quote does not exist. This quote does not exist in any video. He's making.
I was trying to remember it, but I couldn't. Like, this guy is sneaky. I mean, I think he's engagement baiting.
Yes.
I think this is for the clicks. I think he wants to get paid, so he's kind of lying. And by what I've seen of him, like you introduced me to him, I didn't really know him before, but by what I'm seeing, he loves engagement baiting.
Look, nobody's pointing this out in the comments that the quote doesn't exist in the video that you posted, and it doesn't exist anywhere else.
One guy said, "I don't believe you" with a meme, but that's just one guy. Like, what you see, there's a meme.
No, that guy, the people who are saying I don't believe you, they're saying they don't believe Trump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They believe Mario.
Yeah, they're believing the quote, and they're saying Trump is not going to help, but the quote doesn't even exist. Unbelievable.
Look, when this happens, what I do is I request oh my god, the review when they, you know how they do sometimes, they're like, this is a false quote.
Yeah.
And they put it right under. That's what I do. I request that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's crazy. Good thing I fact checked that. All right, let's go to the next video of President Trump.
Can you or the American military or the Israeli military get to what's left of their third string and their fourth string and their fifth string? Do you know where they are? Can you kill them?
Yeah, I do, but we don't want to talk about that. But
okay.
We certainly are watching. Yep, I know a lot about that subject. I know a lot, but I don't think it's appropriate to talk about it right now. But we will. We will be hitting them, like as an example, we're going to hit them very hard tonight, and we're going to hit them hard tomorrow. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. They have nothing. They have nothing going other than they have big mouths.
Keep it up, Mr. President.
Very good that I did, because I got to know them.
The MOU buckle.
And it's a lot better. You know, people say I was at least reasonable, but I got to know them, and they're stone cold crazy people.
Can you or the American military?
So. You highlighted this comment. You wanted to read it and respond to it?
Yes. Thomas DeMay says, I highly doubt the U.S. is going to put boots on the ground. One, not worth it politically. Two, Congress might start to complain and block things, especially before midterms. Now, here's the thing. What is boots on the ground? That's something people don't talk about it a lot, because boots on the ground, maybe some people consider 5,000 to not be boots on the ground. Some people don't consider 10,000 boots on the ground. To some people, boots on the ground is what we did in Iraq. To some people, boots on the ground is what we did in Afghanistan. Like, if you send a limited force, take over some points, and then back off before the midterms, like a month, 2 months before the midterms, no one's going to give a shit. Like, we mobilized thousands and thousands of people to go get Maduro. We have mobilized thousands. There's thousands of people over there right now. Is it boots on the ground? No. But a lot of those people are Marines, and Marines aren't there to shoot from a boat. They can do it, but that's not why they're there. So there's already thousands of Marines whose only purpose is boots on the ground. So what is boots on the ground? That's a conversation. I'm not saying you're wrong in anything you're saying. I'm not trying to like say, this person's wrong. No. There are good points here, but that the definition of that is usually iffy. Like some people understand it differently. Not only that, if you get in and out, people might just not care.
Right. Let me play this. I just saw a video of Prime Minister Netanyahu talking about escalation as well. I haven't seen this video. I just saw it on my feed. Let's see what he's saying.
ערוכים לכל תרחיש.
Nope.
אני יכול להגיד
Okay, he's speaking in Hebrew, so let's just read the caption. Netanyahu is saying, I can tell you only one thing. No, I will not say it to the leaders of Iran. Do not count on there being a do not count it. So no, I will say no, I will say it to the leaders of Iran. Do not count on their being calm if you attack us. Do not count on this being a repeat, because it will not be a repeat. The last one was powerful enough. This will be something different, more powerful. The days when someone could strike us and we would not hit back twice as hard are over. Okay, the Israelis are also getting ready to come in aggressively.
Well, you know what? I understand them. Like, and I'll tell you one thing. Trump loves savings almost as much as, Israelis, right? So if we let Israel do what it does best, right, it's going to be significant savings, right? And they get to do what they love, use their great intelligence and great assets to do great things. I'm going into a Trump intrusion, and I wasn't even trying. So, I would understand that if they are aggressed upon, they should retaliate and defend themselves. This is a law of life to me. Like if someone aggresses on you, you have a right to defend yourself. That should extend to whole countries.
Oh, we got 2 super chats already. Sherry, thank you so much for the super chat saying Trump cannot take anything to Congress. They are mentally ill with TDS. Monkey, what do you think about that?
I think she's absolutely right about that. The problem is Congress is not the commander in chief, right? They have taken more power through assumption and media rhetoric than they actually have in the Constitution, right? So you could make that take months. Oh, did he do something he's not supposed to do? Did he take more power? And then remember, he's got like 2 months to do anything he wants before Congress can even try to block him. If the MOU is over, this would be a new operation. So they've got to sit on their hands for 2 months before they can even do anything about it, right? So that's one of the situations. The other situation is the constitutionality. Like for them to interfere in an ongoing war, the constitutionality of that is very debatable because you can't have 300 people or 100 people debating on what to do in a war. That's not how war works. You need a commander in chief, and that's what the military follow.
Right. Some people are saying okay, I have to make sure this is not fake because we're getting too many. Okay, so we got a post by President Trump on Truth Social 27 minutes ago, and I think there might be a second one. Let me also make sure. I have to triple check everything because people keep giving us fake quotes. Need to
Can't trust Mario. Bad guy.
Yes. Okay. 2 posts. Both of them are real. Okay. So here's the first one. President Trump just posted this image on Truth Social with so this is a comment saying, "Holy moly, I had no idea Trump has said this in 1988. Take Khark Island." And he's posting a comment by President Trump saying, "I'd be harsh on Iran. They've been beating us psychologically, making us look a bunch of fools. One bullet shot at one of our men or ships, and I'd do a number on Khark Island. I'd go in and take it. Iran can't even beat Iraq, yet they push the United States around. It'd be good for the world to take them on." So President Trump just posted his own quote back in 1988 talking about taking Khark Island. And he also posted
the man is consistent.
Okay. And then he now, just 27 minutes ago, he also posted this. This is recent. This is very recent. President Trump just said, all this. Oh, do you want to read that, Monkey?
Oil is flowing like never before, thanks to the awesome power of the United States military. A special salute to the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane, I like to call him Raising Kane, and Commander of the United States Central Command, Admiral Brad Cooper. Because of them, all the members of the most powerful military anywhere in the world, by far, the Strait of Hormuz is open to all ship traffic except for Iran. They don't get to pass by. And that is because of their lying, violent, malicious leadership, which is taking them down the path of total destruction. We will therefore have a full blockade, but only on ships coming to and from Iranian ports or carrying anything that have to do with Iranian cargo. Based on the highly productive conversations in the Middle East leadership, I have decided to replace 20% of the United States reimbursement fee with trade investment deals that the various Gulf states will be making into the United States. Those investments will be massive, but at the same time, extraordinarily good for them and in their future. As everyone is aware, we have the largest dollar investment in the United States of any country in history. But these new investments will make the number even higher, even larger. And we will see factories, plants, equipment pour into the United States at a historic levels, which will create additional millions for high-paying American jobs. America is winning again, winning like never before. The days of Iran killing hundreds of thousands of people, including 52,000 protesters, are over. And most importantly, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump.
Do you like reading these, Monkey? Like, I don't want to make you do it if you don't like
I
it. Do you enjoy?
do, but
Yeah.
but sometimes his syntax is a little hard to I think anybody would have a little trouble because his flow
Yeah.
is kind of funky. You know what I mean? He has his own.
I know.
special
No,
flow.
you do better than anyone else. I just want to make sure you enjoy doing it because I enjoy listening to you do it.
No,
but I
Jeffrey
just
does
want
good
to-
too. I don't Jeffrey. I love you. Don't hey, we got to shout out Jeffrey. Good, great guy. But I like to do it too. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
Yes. Okay, so see, I knew that 20% was too high and like would not happen. So the 20% did it turned from a payment to an investment, which is basically means that they're not giving 20%, right? They're just investing. So the 20% did not make any sense. In fact, not only they're not giving 20%, they're actually getting the opportunity to invest in the United States, which is actually good for them. So
That
the
is good for
20%
them.
total. Yes.
That is
The
good for them.
20%.
I have apprehension about this, and you know why? Do you know why?
Why?
Because
of their control.
usually when Saudi and Qatar and and United Arab Emirates, when they invest, and I've seen where their funding and their NGOs go in, they're funding blue-haired land whales to go protest about Palestine. So I would like to have some controls on that. And I would say, look, I'm looking hard at your NGO funding, and that needs to stop right now. Because if you don't stop that right now and you don't stop funding these universities, I'm cutting everything. I'm cutting everything right now, and you're paying the 20%. I'm sick of these NGOs coming from you. I'm sick of you paying for these blue-haired land whales to put on keffiyehs and start screaming about Palestine. I catch any of that funding, you're paying the 20%. So the money that you're saving from that, put it into factories. That's where I would go with it.
Yeah, this is what I would do. Okay, investments from Arab countries, from any Islamic countries to any countries that any countries that has less values that are not aligned with Western values. Okay, you could come and invest in America, but on two industries are not for you. Okay, education media. You could invest in infrastructure. You could invest in, I don't know, tech companies. Well, unless they're social media, not social media, because that is media, right? But anything media related and anything education related, not for you. That's the way. That's the way I would.
That would be a wise choice.
Yeah. Yeah, because we do want United States to be open for business, but not at the expense of American values.
I would add to that these aren't values they have. Like they would never allow these skittle-haired people in their country. Some of their countries do not allow their people to go study in UK or in Harvard or in Yale because it's too radicalizing, and they don't want to then have to bring those people back into Saudi Arabia, back into UAE, back into Qatar. They literally have videos of them saying we don't allow those people to study over there, but you're funding. You know, understand? You're funding the thing you won't allow your people to have. So it's not even that it's their values; it's just sabotage.
New news. Thank you, thank you for the chat for bringing this to our attention. Kuwait Armed Forces currently engaging hostile area targets. Air defense interceptions active. Explosions reported. So this is officially from the Kuwaiti government. This is an official announcement from the Kuwaiti government. This is Kuwaiti Army. So this was in Arabic originally, automatically translated, saying the armed forces are currently confronting hostile aerial targets within Kuwaiti airspace. So, guys, this is happening as we're speaking. The Islamic Republic is bombing Kuwait right now as we're speaking.
Did they translate it
Saying
in
they
the image also?
No, just yes, you're right. Actually, they did. They give it in Arabic. So I'll read both of them. Wait, actually, it's the same thing here. The Kuwait Armed Forces are currently engaging hostile aerial targets within Kuwait airspace. The General Staff of the Kuwait Armed Forces announces that any explosion sounds that may be heard are the result of the air defense system intercepting hostile attacks. The public is urged to follow the safety and security instructions issued by the relevant authorities. Wow.
Yeah, that could be missiles or shaheds. Like with planes, I would suspect shaheds, but a plane with some good missiles could take down an incoming missile if it's the right kind of plane, if it's the right kind of fighter. With the right kind of missiles, it can be done. And Patriot systems, I would imagine they have some. They probably had some since the first Kuwait War, which was ages ago. That was back in Bush 1. So that seems reasonable and logical. Knowing how the IRGC operate, they would attack what's closest. Or they love attacking their neighbors.
Yeah, and it's really hard to defend against missiles. Drones are easier to defend, but missiles from the Islamic Republic for Kuwait and Bahrain especially are very difficult to defend against because the distance is so small. So it would be seconds before it reaches them. So that's why it's so difficult to defend against them. By the way, guys, thank you, chat, for letting us know that this is happening. Yeah, thank you, guys. We have a really good chat here. President Trump also mentioned that the blockade is over. I wonder what oil price. Let's listen to this and I'll check oil prices.
And it's a blockade not for anybody but Iran. In other words, anybody doing business with Iran can't go through. Everyone else will be able to go through. So it's a blockade. It's a very strong blockade. The blockade was probably more effective even than hitting them, but I think the combination is the thing that really does it.
But you think a deal is still possible? You think they'll return to that?
Yeah, I think a deal is possible. Sure, I do.
But Mr. President,
Back.
So 3 points here. First of all, the blockade is back, which is a huge deal, guys. And the second is that the blockade was damaging the Islamic Republic even more than the boom booms, more than the military operations, which is true. And a lot of people don't really understand how devastating this is for the Islamic Republic right now that the blockade is back. And the third point, he's saying that the negotiation is still possible. Like it's still possible to get to a deal. So what are your opinions on those 3 points?
Look, if I was gonna go scorched earth, I wouldn't say, "Hey, I'm gonna go scorched earth." I would say, "Hey, you can still negotiate." So would I believe that we are still trying to negotiate? I seriously doubt it. The political landscape isn't right for it. The timing isn't right for it. There's lots of
So
things
sorry,
here.
sorry, Monkey. Let me correct myself. The blockade is not over. The blockade is on. Sorry. Thank you, Shannon, for correcting me. The blockade is not over. And what I meant to say is the blockade is now back on. So the allowing the Islamic Republic to sell oil, that is over. Go on, Monkey. Sorry, I had to correct myself. And thank you, Shannon, for catching my mistake. But go on, Monkey. Sorry.
Yeah, like I was saying, I wouldn't tell them the negotiation is over if I was going scorched earth, right? Well, I don't think we're going scorched earth. That's just like a phrase. But I do think that negotiation will be extremely difficult to start just because of how long it takes and how close we are to the midterms. Right now, it's do or die, and like the right is sick of this. Like the right wants this done before midterms. If we don't have this win by midterms, it's a problem. You don't want that center right to be disillusioned, and the center right wants victory. They're not against military operations, but they're against waiting around and being suckered by these obviously unreliable negotiators from the IRGC.
Right. We got two super chats. Saying, I appreciate your hard work and dedication, Armin and Grease Monkey. Well, thank you, Sayed. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then Sherry gave us a super chat saying, yes, Monkey is awesome at this. Yeah, the Trump voice. That's what she's referring to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, I love Cherry. It's a great voter, great citizen.
Right. Look at this. Oil prices are up, but not as. I mean, I don't know what else that needs to happen for oil prices to go like above 100. Like, it's crazy that we have the blockade back on. We have the possibility of a ground operations. People talking. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but people talking about it. The possibility. President Trump talking about taking over Khark Island. But still, oil prices are still like hovering around 80. It's interesting that what else needs to happen. Here's the thing. I do think that it's possible that if we do see a full-scale military operation for this time, oil prices to jump high much more. So I think it's going to be just like might go up and down around 80. But if the market really sees that, okay, another wave of attacks, like as epic as Operation Epic Fury is actually happening this time, I think it might actually shoot up way above where it went last time, because I think the only reason why it's at 80 is one, because after they opened the Strait of Hormuz, the market was flooded with oil, and we have an oversupply issue right now. One, two, the market is assuming that President Trump is not actually, going to go to a full-scale military operations. But if he does, given that the oil reserves are much less than where they were before Operation Epic Fury, then I think it will do a hockey stick and then go jump way above where it was. During Operation Epic Fury, its height was at 124. I think it's possible that this time, if they go back to that scale of an operation, it could actually go to what the Islamic Republic was hoping it could go to and didn't during the Second War. And maybe the Third War would be it.
I think there's been a lot of adjustment in the production and distribution. I think a lot of people have moved away from Persian Gulf oil and have moved to Alaska. Alaska has ramped up production, moved to what we call onshoring and friendshoring, where we're getting our oil sold, the American oil sold across the world. Maybe some of the European countries that do have oil are ramping up their production just because you have to do it. You don't really have a choice. You're going to have the people rioting in the streets if you don't bring the oil price down. So you just open your factories again. Don't know that much about Europe, but I do think that there is an increase in outside of Persian Gulf oil production, and I think that is making a difference also.
Yeah, that does have an effect. But I do think that even with all of that, oil reserves are still very, very low, uncomfortably low, especially for the U.S. And that's why I think that's why the Islamic Republic, maybe wrongly, thinks that President Trump will not go to that level of military operations. But I think the Islamic Republic is looking at United States oil reserves and making assumptions based on that. That's what I think is happening.
Yes.
And it might be a miscalculation, though. I think the Islamic Republic is, in their mind, calling President Trump's bluff because of the oil reserves and because of the midterm elections, because they think that President Trump doesn't want to lose to the Democrats during the midterms, and that's why he's not going to go to war to that scale before the midterms, and that's why that's one of the reasons, one of many reasons. There are other reasons as well, that the Islamic Republic is becoming more daring in their military operations. Do you think how much do you think the midterms influences President Trump's decision? Maybe you said you have an opposite view of this, right? But what would you say to the people who think that if President Trump goes to war before the midterms, it will it will be a huge win for the Democrats because they will keep campaigning on inflation and, I don't know, oil prices at the pump and stuff like that? Do you think that would have a major impact?
I would
Because
tell
know you think
them you're not looking at data. You're looking at what you think, your feelings, the past. You're not looking at what's happening on the ground. If you look at underground, everyone is sick of this. Everyone that wants this over, any Republican voters or center right voters want this over. Like, you can't go with what your gut feeling says. Your feelings are just basically statistically improvable. Like, the past is not a reliable. It's not always going to show the future. When we're looking at this kind of situation, the modern situation, the always online situation that we have with how the markets work, how the news media works, this has to get done. Anybody thinking about this, you're just going off historic, trends. You're not looking at the statistics and the data of what the people that are going to vote and are swinging that would swing to the right on a midterm are saying. You're just going off your historical feelings. That's fine. But my opinion is, when you look at the data, and I'm so glad Texas Troop brought this data to us, the data shows that no, you got to get this done now. And I've seen many people
So-
say it online, influential people.
But here's the how would you respond to the counter to that point, that if the Americans if you're saying that they need to get back to war before the midterms because the Americans want it over, well, this is not going to be, if they start today, it's not going to be finished by the midterms. So that strategy would backfire, because that's what that comes with the assumption that you can get this done that fast. If you start now, this will take a lot longer.
I would say you can think whatever you want. You think that. Go ahead and think that. Go ahead and think we're not going to be done. Go ahead and think that. Think it till the cows come home. I think the opposite. So what are we going to do here?
Okay. Well, I mean, do you have an argument for that?
The argument is that we don't need to take over. We need to destroy them militarily enough where we can claim the victory.
Okay. Let's see when it comes to the election. Okay, guys, look at this. We have some new footage. I'll go to this. US strikes in telecommunications tower in Bandar Abbas. So we have a strike in Bandar Abbas. This is a telecommunication tower right there. And CCTV capturing that. That was a telecommunication tower.
That's precise.
Hmm.
Like, that looks like it has some civilian structures around it, but it looks like it only hit the target. Like, I may be misjudging the build. No, that's very precise.
Okay, I have a trick question. Okay, and I see your super chats. I will respond to them after a few videos. But I have a question, Monkey. What is the deadliest thing that you see in this video? You see, which
In the video.
what is the deadliest thing?
The camera, or maybe those cars are unreliable. I've never driven. I don't know what the
This
Iranians
is this
drive.
car. This car is the Pride car. Okay, it's such a. This is basically Iranian people call it a coffin with wheels, right? It's the unsafest car to drive in Iran, and it has caused hundreds of thousands of Iranians to die every year, astronomically number of Iranians die driving this car in car accidents, especially because the roads are also not up to standards. So if you compare the number of Iranians who die because of them driving this car compared to the people who die in war, this is astronomically higher. In fact, a lot of Iranians joke about this with some dark humor. They're saying, the Islamic Republic, if they want to kill Israelis, instead of shooting missiles at them, they should just export this car to Israel. That would get them hundreds of, thousands of deaths in Israel. Way more
Would that be
effective than the
diabolical?
missiles.
That car in Israel, would that be like a I don't know, a crime against humanity, a war crime to send that car over there?
Yeah, it should be, but this is unfortunately what the Iranian people drive because it's an isolationist economy and they don't allow exports of better cars to come to Iran in a natural
A
way.
lack of choice is always a problem.
Yes, exactly. We got 2 super chats. Thank you so much, CRWMYMIFY. Thank you so much for the super chat saying, do you feel Trump's comment on the days of Iran killing protesters is over is a big deal? I do. That's an interesting comment. I think it's a big deal because as an Iranian, I don't see the only other politician that kept on talking about the Iranian people was Lindsey Graham. At this level. As an Iranian, to me, that is a huge deal. One of the things that I appreciate about President Trump the most is exactly that he keeps bringing that up. He does it. The media keeps wanting to forget that. The media keeps wanting to forget that, and President Trump doesn't let them. I mean, they still keep forgetting that. But President Trump is the main. This is no exaggeration. I truly believe this. President Trump is the main force on earth that is keeping the memory of that tragedy alive in the world. And I think every Iranian should be appreciating that. So, yes.
I think you should take him seriously, but not literally. That doesn't mean you can go out right now and they won't, like, the police won't shoot you. They will definitely do that. But I think that he is basically telling the people, hey, this needs to stop. We need to do something about this, and we will do something about this. And he is really highlighting that, I mean, let's talk about a genocide. Isn't that more people than this whole Gaza thing? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the numbers, because a lot of people that bring up Gaza and Palestine won't respect the numbers in Iran, won't respect the numbers in South Africa. And we're going to be mathematical about this. This is right there on, the genocide table. If whatever happened in Gaza is a genocide, this is definitely a genocide.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We got. Thank you so much for the super chat. Lior gave us a super chat saying, does Israel have ability for Iran busy with Hezbollah? Oh, yes, Lior. So you think, does Israel have the ability to fight against the Islamic Republic, given that they're busy with Hezbollah and Hamas? Lior, that's a very good question. Israel is famous for being able to fight on multiple fronts. They're famous. They did that from day one. Of their foundation. They fought 6 armies at the same time. And the whole world is always at awe how Israel is able to do that. And the good thing, by the way, is that the military equipment and staff and fighters that they need for Hamas and Hezbollah is completely different from what they use against the Islamic Republic, right? Like that's almost a completely different area. So the resources that are busy fighting Hamas and Hezbollah are separate from the resources required for the Islamic Republic. So the answer is yes.
Indeed. Was it like 4 countries? It was like Egypt.
6
I don't remember. Six
at some point.
Christ.
Yes. So yeah, we had multiple wars. One of them was 4, one of them was 6. So yeah, and it was on day 1 of being a country. So it was like, happy birthday, let's all attack, and they won. A tiny little country that 1 day old faced 6 armies, actual armies, like countries with standing armies and won. It's unbelievable. It was the greatest humiliation ever for Arabs. Thank you, Leo. Okay. Let me, given that we're talking about I want to understand this, right? I want to understand the whole inflation and where are we at with the inflation? Because a lot of people, you and Texas Troop are telling me that this is not as big of a deal as getting the job done in Iran. So let me see this.
Yeah, it's absolutely the best inflation report we've seen in about 6 years. If you abstract from energy, if you look at the core, it's all the way down year over year to 2.6%, which is just about
So people might say, like, why would you abstract the energy? Because if you include the energy, you're double counting. Guys, everything that you consume requires energy, right? So the cost of energy will show itself in the price of milk, because to get the milk into your glass or into your cereal bowl, it needs to be moved, and you need energy to feed the cow, to move the cow, to cut the cow. Everything needs energy. So if you count the cost of milk and the energy, you're double counting. That's why they extract the energy. It does make sense here.
Yeah, and I would add to that. I would add to that right now the ramped up supply is in the United States, Brazil, Guyana, and Argentina. These are the places that ramped up supply. That's friendshoring. Well, Brazil, it's kind of friendly, but definitely Guyana and Argentina are outside OPEC, and they are pumping out oil as fast as they can and as much as they can.
Yeah. So let's watch this one. It's just 1 minute, because it seemed like we actually have good inflation numbers.
Yeah, it's absolutely the best inflation report we've seen in about 6 years. If you abstract from energy, if you look at the core, it's all the way down year over year to 2.6%, which is just about where the Fed expects it to be. And it's not just energy prices going down. Like, if you look at the micro stories, if you zoom in, then you see things like auto insurance costs are way down, in part because law enforcement has picked up. There aren't so many people having their cars stolen and so on because of bringing order to the streets. We see food prices doing a great job. Tomato prices down 10%. Across the board, drug.
So again, I don't want to go to this too much, but it does seem like, okay, so if you're right. If inflation numbers are okay, that means that for the midterms, President Trump needs to worry about the mindset of the Americans, thinking that he failed in the military operations against the Islamic Republic. They need to finish that job. Here's let's see what Nick Fuentes is saying. Guys, we don't agree with Nick Fuentes. We just want to see the reason why we're playing him. He's going to talk about the elections, I think, regarding the Democrats. No, it says we might need another Democrat. So let me actually see what he says here. And Monkey, you respond to this because you understand American politics better than I do. I want to see if you agree with, I don't even know what it's going to say.
And so forget about Trump fucking blowing it in the second term. He's also going to potentially blow it for us in 2028. And I don't want this to happen, but we might literally have to suffer another Democrat presidency for the next 4 years to have a true reset. That's how much damage Trump has done to the Republican brand. That's how much his pernicious influence has spoiled any opportunity for something fresh to come up. He's presenting a real problem because in 28, you're going to have to, if you want to shake things up, you're going to have to thread the needle between pissing off Trump and alienating all the people that still support him, but at the same time, voicing those legitimate criticisms for how Trump has totally failed us and departed from the original mission to activate all the people that are not happy with Trump. It's
okay. Now here's the problem. This is why he's dangerous, because he's going to use things that are legitimate claims and spin it around, blame it on the Jews, and try to get you to blame Republicans and get you to vote for Democrats. I sent Armin a link right now on Telegram where do you know who Nick Fuentes is sitting down with and giving time and giving popularity to, who he wants to be the candidate? Like, you could call him high IQ, like he is going to try to turn people, but he's also right now trying to promote like a presidential ticket from Hunter Biden. He wants to give Hunter Biden popularity. I thought this was crazy. I don't think a crackhead in the White House is a good thing, but Nick, I think he's kind of playing this for media attention, but he is trying to turn people into Democrats just as a protest vote instead of just staying home.
Right. Okay, let's continue.
You got to simultaneously kiss Trump's ass and say, you're the greatest president ever. And yeah, it's the best economy. And, we defeated the Iranians. That's what it was always about. Because you can't piss off these retarded boomers that only watch Fox News and still worship Trump. Can't piss them off. Can't piss off all these idiots in the Facebook comment section. They'll take endless abuse from Trump. But also, you got to talk to the rest of America, the other 75% that have an internal monologue, and say, yeah, we know it's a betrayal. We know it's a pretty big letdown to say no new wars, and you're escalating against Russia, escalating against Iran, escalating against Venezuela.
Okay, so this is a lie. We're not, look at the triple lie here. First of all, the war with Iran and our losses against Iran because of their proxies, because of their endless war on shipping, war on oil tankers, oil on anything that has to do with America, or all the terrorism. This is an ongoing war. This is not a new war. That's number one. And actually, he would be ending a war. And he never said he was against ending wars. He was against starting new ones. So this is not a new war. The Ukraine problem existed before Trump came in. So this is not a new war. And the Venezuela thing isn't a war. Are we at war with Venezuela? So that's a triple lie that he kind of snuck in there and told you it was a betrayal. That's a triple lie. The Iran war has been ongoing for a long time. They never surrendered. They never stopped, claiming responsibility for the things they did. They still say publicly on their media, their politicians, they all say death to America. They all claim the operations. This is not something new. This is ending a war. He never said he always said he was for ending wars. This is not beginning one. Venezuela, what the fuck are you talking about? We are all over Venezuela. No one's fighting us. Who's shooting Americans in Venezuela? What Americans are Americans shooting people in Venezuela? That's just a lie. That's just a flat out lie. And the Ukraine thing has been ongoing also for years, since their 30-day invasion started under, I think it started under Biden. So how is this Trump's fault? This is a triple lie, right? But because he is speaking to some problems and some concerns, people take this as some kind of he's right about one thing. So then he eases your guard down so you accept this bullshit.
Great.
Literally.
This is why why you are needed, Monkey, because you understand American politics better than me. So that's why you're so valuable in our team.
And you're escalating against Russia, escalating against Iran, escalating against Venezuela. So he not only blew it in 16, in 20, in 24, the parting gift is that he's going to blow it for the next guy in 28. He'll have cost us 16 years, 4 terms with his incompetence.
This is absolute bullshit. How is Trump escalating? He was the guy trying to make a deal. The guy who's escalating is Putin. How are we escalating in Venezuela? What we are doing is getting the Venezuelan people on our side because they're sick of this tofu drag Belt and Road Initiative building. That's an absolute lie. How are we escalating in Venezuela? Everything is going great for us in Venezuela. Anybody that knows anything about the Venezuelan people and see their media and see how the people talk, I mean, he should know this. He's Mexican. He probably knows Spanish. Like, he knows he's lying. This escalation, we're escalating against Russia. No, Ukraine was pissed at us because we kept removing sanctions on Russia. What escalation is he talking about? Now, if you don't have the time to check, you might not know that Ukraine was kind of pissed at USA because we were kind of letting go of some of the sanctions. But you might also, like, if you're a little deeper in the weeds with us, if you know what's going on. You also know that removing those sanctions didn't really help Russia a lot because so many of their refineries are getting blown up that it doesn't matter, right? But to say that it's an escalation is absolute blatant lie. There is no escalation from Trump against Russia because Ukraine is handing Russia their ass so handily that they don't need to. We can go soft. We can remove more sanctions on Russia, and it literally won't help them. So this.
Oh, Monkey? Did we lose Monkey? Monkey's audio got cut. All right, it's okay because I have some urgent. So we have new footage. At least 4 Iranian. So I'm just reading it as it is. Okay, at least 4 Iranian ballistic missiles reportedly hit Jordan's King Faisal Air Base last night. Footage shows air defense failing to intercept. Oh my god! So guys, remember I just told you that ballistic missiles are really hard to intercept for these Arab countries around the Persian Gulf, especially ballistic missiles. The drones are easier to intercept. Ballistic missiles are hard to intercept because they're so close. So this is a failure in interception. Oh, Monkey had technical difficulties. Hold on. Let's watch this. Ooh, is that the interceptor? This is Jordan, guys. Oh no, it's coming down. It's coming down. Nothing stopped it. You saw? Oh. So guys, you see, hold on, let me full screen this. I think those are the interceptors trying to stop the missile, the ballistic missile. They're chasing it. It didn't stop it. It's coming. No interception. This is in Jordan. This is the airbase. Yes, as the other thing sucks not to have Iron Dome. And then there was another. Hold on. Let me pause this. We got another video here. This is. I think this might be. Ooh, here. This is Jordan as well. Oh no! Look at this. Got through. Oh, this is the Islam. These are ballistic missiles, guys. Look at how fast they come down. Look at that. Oh my god. That's one. Is there another one? There's another one. Oh, there's another one. There's another one coming. Hey, look at this. There's another one coming down. This is look. That's the interceptor, guys. Look at that. This missile is coming down. That's the interceptor trying to reach it. Oh, nope, did not work. These are they're not working. The interceptors are not working. Jordan is getting hit bad. Oh my god, it seems like all of them are getting through.
It's like hitting a bullet with a bullet.
Yes, but also because they're so close. So guys, I told you the drones are easy to intercept these missiles, especially because they're close. They're just right over the. I mean, Jordan is actually a bit farther away, but still, there's a good. Look, that was the third one. Third one where it got through as well. Like almost none of them were stopped.
In that barrage, yes, I think they all went through. I think the interceptors need more time to triangulate.
Here's basically that same footage, but a little bit more zoomed in. Look, that's the interceptor going up. And that's the missile coming down. Guys, Monkey, am I correct? These ballistic missiles go all the way to space and then come down, right? They go all the way to.
Some of them, yes. I don't know if within that distance,
Yeah.
because it's so short. I don't know if they would go all the way up, but they at least
do.
reach into the stratosphere.
Yeah, they go up and then they come down, and that's what makes that hard. Guys, they go all the way to space and then they come down. That makes them so fast, and that's what makes them hard to catch. They're too fast.
They're also accelerating all the way down as far as I can see. Yeah, that appears to be. I don't think that's just friction from the atmosphere. I think they are accelerating down, and if they are accelerating down, and it's just it's not just the fins of guiding the trajectory. That would make it harder to hit because it's coming down so fast. It's hard to judge the trajectory, especially if during the time where it's coming down it moves. If it goes in a straight line down, like it aims itself at the top and comes in a straight line down, well, that's easy to deal with. But if it's both changing trajectory and accelerating on the way down, it makes it way more difficult to target from a defense standpoint.
Yeah. So guys, as you guys saw yesterday, Prime Minister of Iraq. Hold it. Let me actually make sure I bring this correctly. Where is this? Let me get this first. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Yeah. So the Prime Minister of Iraq is here in United States, this is big news here. Yeah. So you guys saw that the Iraqi Prime Minister Ali Zaidi left Iraq yesterday to come to Washington D.C. to meet with President Trump. And I showed you the videos of him leaving, and I told you how historic this is. This is proof that United States actually won the war against Saddam. A lot of people thought that war was lost by United States because they don't understand that the consequences of actions by United States takes multiple decades to show results, and this is the ultimate result, that a new prime minister of Iraq, completely now within the sphere of influence of United States, President Trump has successfully taken Iraq out of the sphere of taking the Iraq out of the sphere of influence of the Islamic Republic. So this is it. This is now President Trump meeting with the new, very young, by the way, 41 years old, Prime Minister of Iraq. This is Ali Zaidi. He used to be a banker. And President Trump, this is happening right now, by the way. We're going to show you the most important parts of it as they come out. But just know that President Trump made this happen. Right. While many people were not paying attention, we were paying attention. Everybody else, nobody was like, none of the analysts that cover Iran and the Middle East were focusing on this. But we mentioned when it happened, and we told you how big of a deal this is, because the Prime Minister of Iraq was becoming Nouri al-Maliki, and President Trump stopped it from happening. Nouri al-Maliki would have made it that the Iraq would fall back into the sphere of influence of the Islamic Republic. President Trump came, and most Americans were not paying attention, didn't know if this is happening, and even the ones who didn't know how big of a deal this was. President Trump stopped it, and instead of that guy, Ali Zaidi here became the prime minister. And Ali Zaidi delivered everything to President Trump. He went out, like he basically coordinated with the Americans when it comes to targeting Hashd al-Shabi, Shia proxy groups of the Islamic Republic being targeted. But not only that, he went and arrested all the politicians within Iraq, arrested or hunted down all the politicians within Iraq that were basically agents of the Islamic Republic within Iraq. So Iraq is finally being saved, and this is the result of United States from the beginning, from attacking, toppling Saddam all the way till now. This shows that that war was successful, and United States eventually got Iraq into a sphere of influence. So all the people who think that the war against Saddam was wrong, look at this. This is the result. Let me play this 9-second video.
Can I comment on this before you go ahead? I would also point
9 seconds.
I would also point out.
God,
Come on, don't do this to me every time.
Okay,
Can I comment
cool.
on this before he starts? This is not just good for America. This is also good for the Iraqi people. All right. The Iraqi people are being robbed by these IRGC thugs that bribe their way into power so they can then steal from the Iraqi people. So we are speaking of this. Yes, this is good for America. Yes, America did benefit from these proxies and having these people outside of influence. But I also want to point out that it's very important that this isn't just for America. This is very, very good for the Iraqi people. We saw earlier right here on Liberty Politics how much of their people's money was being stolen by these thugs. So it's not just America. Like it is good for us. I want the people in America to understand that, but this is not just for us. And sometimes that gets lost in the sauce. So I want to put that out there.
That's exactly true. I completely agree. But don't be unfair to me. I do this every time. I always let you speak. You speak more than me, and I always allow you to speak. Don't be unfair to me. I let you speak all the time. When do you say like you see you're being unfair to me? So I do this to you all the time. I always say, Monkey, what do you think? Monkey, what do you think? Monkey, what's your opinion? So don't be unfair.
Sometimes when I want to jump in, you're like, no, wait till after this thing, where after you forget.
Yes, sometimes, but most of the time, I'm very fair to you. So don't be unfair to me. Okay, I really value your opinion. Yes, I'm very fair to you.
Hey, I want to give you a monkey hug. You want a monkey hug?
Okay, monkey hug. Okay.
Just
know that, like, I value your opinion, and I show that I value your opinion. Okay, so
look, I respect it. I didn't send a monkey kiss. I know you hate those.
Yes. Don't be unfair to me. Okay. Let's continue. Let's play this 9-second here.
Very conclusively, and he wasn't favored. But by the time they got to know him, he ended up winning, and he's going to be there for a long time. Very conclusively, and he wasn't favored.
So I have better videos, actually. That was really short. That's why I was saying like it's just 9 seconds. But here, let me actually go to this video. And guys, I see your super chats, but this is a better video. That was too short. That was just like 9 seconds.
Well, thank you very much. We've had already a good meeting. We're going to decide to do a little lunch. It wasn't scheduled, but we are going to do it on the fly because we have a tremendous chemistry together. The Prime Minister of Iraq has been amazing. He won an election that a lot of people didn't anticipate could be won by anybody else other than another person who was not, in my opinion, a good person. Not good for America. I don't think good for Iraq. And I played a role in, it was very important to me to have somebody get in there that can do the job and do it well. And we have a fantastic champion, a new champion. And he won the election very soundly, very conclusively, and he wasn't favored. But by the time they got to know him, he ended up winning, and he's going to be there for a long time. So I just want to say it's a great honor to have the Prime Minister of Iraq with us. He's been a great fighter, and he's been a great fan of America. We'll be discussing that a little bit with you, but they have tremendous oil reserves. They have tremendous potential wealth, and they have tremendous wealth, not only potential. But he's done in a short period of time, he's changed that country so much, especially toward their thinking about the United States. And we have partnerships. Chris was just saying we have tremendous oil partnerships all of a sudden being formed over the last short period of time. And I guess you're going to be announcing them this week or next week, but massive, among the largest. So they have done a fantastic job over the last very short period of time. But they have a great leader, the new prime minister. He's a great leader. I think he's going to be there for a long period of time. And it's great to have you at the White House. Thank you very much.
Wow, look at that picture. Look at that picture. Guys, you won. Look at this. You won. America wins. This is how America wins. I don't think
Absolutely.
yes, go on. Yeah.
Look, I was going to say that there are certain shifts that because of their being aligned, there's going to be some changes. There may be some changes into the Iraqi monetary policy. And this is something that since the war hasn't been able to happen because they have been more recently redoubling their efforts against all these problems. They're going to protect. It protects the revenues of their oil. It keeps Iraq in good grace with the U.S. Federal Reserve, guaranteeing uninterrupted flow of Iraq's vital oil dollars back into the country. It combats systemic corruption, replacing untraceable cash dollar amounts with digital tracking makes it exponentially harder for elites to smuggle currency or launder money, which is why having a banker in charge is important. Because when you have a banker in charge, they know how money gets laundered, they know how to move money through the system, they know how to better account for it if you have it digitalized. It stabilizes the domestic economy, aggressive de-dollarization, and electronic banking shields everyday citizens from hyperinflation and volatile market exchange rates, attracts foreign investment, modernizing the financial architecture, builds international credibility required to draw global companies into non-oil infrastructure projects in Iraq. It secures political stability for the central government, predictable, compliant budget environment, reduces domestic friction, and preserve the country's fragile political peace. So this is a very important on the financial side, that Iraq is modernizing away from these cash, gold, all the stuff that got confiscated. And it makes it easier for someone that is a banker that takes hold of the reins of power and a businessman that takes hold of the reins of power to be able to better watch the system and know where the corruption is.
Okay. President Trump is not happy with the Prime Minister of Iraq. You know why?
Why?
Because he's too handsome, apparently. Look at this.
And he's a young man. He's young and he's handsome, which I don't like. I'm not happy about it.
That's okay.
I mean, he got to have one complaint. If you're going to have one complaint, let it be that one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He is a smoozer. Like, Trump is a smoozer. He loves to, like, you know, throw out some compliments, give you a little compliment. Armin is a handsome podcaster, the voice of Iran. Iran is full of beautiful people.
I think President Trump likes young Arab men. But Jolani keeps saying Jolani is handsome, and now this guy.
Look, that's it, it takes your brain to a different place, right? If you're thinking I'm tough, I'm military, and you get told you're handsome, that took your mind completely off the military track. Now you're thinking, oh my God, people think I'm pretty, people think I'm handsome. Oh, so you know, it's kind of it's disarming. Like sometimes compliments and the use of comedy can be very disarming. Like if you're in a negotiating tactic, just from a neurological standpoint, if you shift the mentality from I'm negotiating, I'm kind of, this is a form of economic combat, and you shift that mentality into kind of like laughter and more of a you know, hey, you know, I'm liked. It's powerful. It's literally like mentally disarming.
Guys, this is why every time I tell Monkey he's being unfair to me, he's like, monkey hug, monkey hug, monkey hug. He's trying to disarm me.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great tactic. You can use it on me anytime. Tell me I'm a beautiful monkey. I love it.
Wait, okay. Hold on. I have some other videos. Okay, this is actually a big deal.
Well, we don't think we need the military there anymore. It's a very a big operation.
So in Iraq, he's saying we don't need the military in Iraq anymore.
Well, we don't think we need the military there anymore. It's a very a big operation. And what we do have is the oil companies are all going in now, and they're doing partnerships with Iraq, and they're getting along very well. The relationship is a whole big relationship where we don't need the military there. We're there to help them. We're there to protect them if need be, but we don't think that's going to be necessary. And well, we don't think we need the military there.
So what do you think about that?
I think he's talking about like having a big presence that can be attacked versus having access to their air bases, because it's not the same thing to have your own military spending, your own military territory, your own points of aggression. Like right now, if you attack an American military base, you're not attacking Iraq, you're attacking the U.S., right? That might be the sentiment. But if that shifts into us having free use of their air bases, that makes it very difficult for a local to attack and pretend he's not attacking his own government. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I hope this is more economic and rhetorical than factual within the sphere of operations, because we would still need air bases, we still need places where we can refuel and land, and we would still want very heavy protections around something as sensitive as an air base. I think ever since 9/11, air bases are a heavily protected place. So I would make that distinction. Like, there is some differences. It's not just a distinction without a difference. We would remove some personnel and make that less of a strategic target, because we are seeing that anything that is designated a U.S. military base gets attacked, and they say, "Oh, we're not attacking you, we're attacking the U.S. base." Well, if they just let us land there all the time, then you can't say that, right? You have to be like, "Oh, well, you aided them." Like, it shifts the conversation, not a lot, but meaningfully enough to be legally distinct, maybe in the international court. Not that I care what they say. And at this point, I think I'm belaboring the point. You guys get what I mean, right?
Yes. Okay, look, there's so many more statements by President Trump that is huge. Guys, I see the super chats. We will respond to them soon. Thank you so much for that. But this is important. This is a historic moment. This is a historic moment because I think this is the conclusion of the United States military operations that started with toppling of Saddam. However, Trump is talking about that here. I want to see what Monkey thinks about this, because Monkey, served in the military. And look at this. President Trump thinks actually the Iraq war was a mistake. I don't think it was a mistake, but President Trump thinks a mistake. And the reason why it wasn't a mistake is sitting right next to him. But listen to this.
And I used to say, don't go into Iraq. Don't attack Iraq. Frankly, they attacked the wrong country. And they did a lot of damage. Yes. And
what do you think about that?
Okay, I understand that perspective, but could you imagine instead of Iraq, we would have went into Iran and eliminated the IRGC? Wouldn't that have been better for Iran and Iraq? Because I think that's what he's talking about.
Yes, that would be better. But overall, this is a net positive.
Well, I would say that the de-Baathification was a little bit of a problem. Also, the rules of engagement that soldiers had on the ground were very difficult to deal with. This is a problem with Democrats of the area. They gave us very bad rules of engagement, which put the military in a position where they were set up to have more losses. So I understand that mistakes were made, but I don't think they were made by Republicans. And I don't think it's an overall mistake. There's just a functions of how it was operated. Like the invasion itself, it went off as one of the most, historic, operations in known military combat, right? But when you're talking about what came later, that's the problem.
Yeah, what they came later. So there were a lot of mistakes that were made. I agree with that. The top one being the de-Baathification, 100%. I agree with you on that. But even with the mistakes, it was the right thing to do. Short of, and there was a better alternative. But without that alternative, this was better do. Like it was a good thing the United States did this overall, even with all the mistakes, right? And the military operations were not flawless, but really good. The political decisions after were horrible. But even with those mistakes, it ended up being a net positive. Do you agree with that?
I think we are now at a much better place than we would be if we had not gone in. Like if we had gone into neither, if we had not gone into Iran instead of Iraq and not gotten rid of the IRGC, but we have also let Saddam stay in power, I think we would we would not be in a better place. I think we are in a better place now.
So that makes it, I agree with you. Like none of what they're doing right now would be possible if Saddam was still in power, right? But that makes it the right decision. Then that means that it was the right decision to topple Saddam.
Oh yeah, yes. I thought just to be explicit, yes.
Yes. Yeah, just wanted to be explicit as well. And then let's see what President Trump has to say here as well. Okay, so he's talking about the Persian Gulf states are now going to invest a tremendous amount of money into the United States, and that's was very satisfactory to me. I think it's actually much better. Yes, guys, the 20% toll doesn't make any sense. Now President Trump is saying that we're going to be investing in the United States, not collecting 20% toll. Like, look at there.
Yeah, so when I put that out yesterday, we've been doing that for many, many years. It was never fair to me that we would be guarding the strait when we basically don't take anything. We don't need the oil at all. And it wasn't important for us, but it was important for allies. It was important for people that we get along with very well, including the major Gulf state countries. So I put it out yesterday. I thought it was good. I was called by different people, different countries, kings and emirs and all of the people that we all know and we all love. And they've been very strong partners. And they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars and continue our record setting, because there's never been a time like this for the United States with the factories, with the plants, with everything else. And we would like to invest tremendously in the United States as opposed to charging a fee. And I like that actually, because I don't think anybody should be able to charge a fee for the strait or for any other strait relationship in terms of other sections of the world. I don't think anybody should be really in that position. But we were doing it as a reimbursement. The Gulf states are going to invest a tremendous amount of money into the United States, and that was very satisfactory to me. I think it's actually much better.
See, that is important that he's saying that, because I know a lot of people say like, "Oh, Armin will don't take him seriously, but not literally." But the problem is that saying that we're going to collect 20% toll, even if they don't do it, would set a precedent internationally. The United States thinks that it's okay to collect a toll on natural waterways, right? Trade routes, waterways, natural ones. Guys, toll, you could only, like, internationally, what's the norm is that you could collect tolls on canals, which are man-made, not natural, like straits, for example, right? And this President Trump saying that we're going to collect 20% toll would not be good for the United States, because it would be creating an expectation globally that this is okay, and that would be really good for China. It would be very good for CCP. Like, oh, really? Is that what we could do? And who took advantage of that? Araghchi. When President Trump said that, Araghchi came out and took advantage of that. As soon as President Trump said that we're going to collect 20%, Araghchi, the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic, said POTUS is absolutely right. President Trump basically is absolutely right. Whoever provides secure and safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz should be compensated for this service. Iran has always been the guardian of the strait, and will remain so forever. 20% is, of course, too much. We will be fair. So, obviously, this is ridiculous, because they're the ones who are the reason why people need guarding. They're the reason for the insecurity. They're the ones who are attacking the ships. They're not the guardian. They are the reason why the ships need a guardian.
They're the mafia.
They're the mafia, exactly. You're not collecting a service fee. That's extortion. You're basically threatening. You're allowing people to pass by threatening them that you will hurt them if they don't pay up. That's the difference. But either way, I'm glad that President Trump is switching from asking for a toll to saying there would be investments. Investments is not a payment, because you're actually giving them something back.
Okay, so this does a couple of things. One of the things it does, it forces people that thought it was okay for Iran to do this to now say, no, wait a minute, having a toll is not okay. Oh, it's not okay? Great, now you're on my side. right? I switch positions, so let's have a poll. Oh, you think it's okay for the IRGC to have a toll? You want us to step away? Okay, tolls are good. You say, okay, then I'll have a toll. Oh, now tolls are bad. I agree, tolls are bad, right? So now you force them onto your side because he was never going to hold that side for long. But this does something rhetorically. Also, it does something that you've been talking about for a while about the old petrodollar and how we don't really need to have oil protect the reserve status. So now we would want something more in exchange for protecting the Gulf. And this kind of investment would be the kind of payment for protecting the Persian Gulf for these Persian Gulf allies that hadn't been considered before. It suggests a shift, like a renegotiation of the petrodollar deal into something different. And what's your take on this? What do you think? Is this a good framing? Because I know you talked about this before, and because we don't need that kind of thing to back up the reserve currency, they have to give up more. It has to be renegotiated. You've spoken about this.
So for United States, this is just energy security, and having enough access to being able to flood the global markets with enough oil for every country, but especially United States, to not have to tap into the reserves. It's for United States. This is not about the petrodollar anymore. That's like that era is over, because the United States US dollars is backed by so many things that is not just about people trading petroleum, oil and gas in US dollars. So many things have to be traded. US debt is in US dollars, and everybody wants US debt to buy, to that's what they want, right? So they want to lend to Uncle Sam more than anyone else for the security and the guarantee for the security and the liquidity of it. So that has to be in USD. We have instead of petrodollar, we now have AI dollar is becoming a thing. Like the international trade on chips is mostly in USD. So the AI boom is backing the US dollar. Stable coins, for example, there's many things. Like the list of the things that has to be in US dollars is so high that it's not about petrodollar anymore. Like one of the things that is already and is going to really strengthen the position of the US dollar is stable coins, right? Like stable coins are in US dollars. Like people don't trade in stable coins like cryptocurrency, stable coins in, I don't know, Chinese currency, or they do maybe in some other currencies like euro, but the main stable coins everywhere globally being used right now is US dollar backed stable coins, right? So that's a huge backer of the position of the US dollar internationally. So it's not about oil anymore. The reason why all this oil is important to the United States is because of strategic reserves, not to back the US dollars. I mean, it still helps. It does back the US dollar, but it doesn't rely on it anymore.
Yes, renegotiating why we are going to defend you is very important. It's not just because we need that petrodollar. There needs to be a new reason for us to, stick our hand in here. We do want stability for the whole world, but you're going to have to invest, and it is a good place to invest. So, exactly.
Yes. All right. So let's go over here. There was another point here, mateys.
Well, we don't think we need the military there anymore. It's a very a big operation. And what we do have is the oil companies are all going in now, and they're doing partnerships with Iraq, and they're getting along very well. The relationship is a whole big relationship where we don't need the military there. We're there to help them.
So this is what I like. I like commerce stops war in a much more cost-efficient way. So you do need a big military as a display of deterrence to bring peace. But beyond having giant militaries that deters people from attacking you, trading with people and doing commerce and investment with them, that's even a bigger guarantor of peace. This is why capitalism brings peace. Capitalism stops war, because when you have so much trade, natural trade, okay, natural organic I'm not talking about command economy. I'm not talking about businesses and trade that is weaponizing the economy like the CCP does, right? When you don't weaponize your economy and you just let organic, natural trade and investments flow between nations, that is the greatest guarantor of peace and stability. And you see how President Trump is basically just allowing trade and investments to be a replacement for military. The military is required at the beginning, but then when you pull out your military, you basically build the foundations of economic trade for long lasting peace.
The only
Love
thing I
that.
would add to that is that you need to have rational actors in charge. Like you can't do this with the IRGC because they're not rational actors, right? They're apocalyptic and their interests are, I mean, it's not logical. Even you say, no, they have some logic. Like, let's be real. They're extremely illogical. Like, even if they want to last, like they're schizophrenic in their posturing and their policies and their execution of policy.
I would slightly adjust that. I think I don't trust rationality. I think you need liberty. Okay. Because rationality means that you are going to let the politicians be rational about it. I think as long as you let go and let the society organically decide, you will have the rationality from the wisdom. So you're right. Actually, you're right. But the type of rationality that I want is from the wisdom of the crowds, not the wisdom of a few elites, you know? So yes, rationality that you get from the emergent property of allowing the crowds of the society to make decisions based on their own choices. You need liberty. Liberty will give you a type of rationality that a few elites will never be able to give you. So you need liberty. You need a society that has liberty, because even if you're not Durka jihadi minded, so let's say, for example, you say like the Islamic Republic, these people are jihadi, end of times, crazy Durka, religious, like crazy nut jobs. So that's why if you give the economy to them, they will ruin it. But here's what I would say: even if they were the wisest, most rational people, if you give them the economy, they will still ruin it. Because in fact they might ruin it even more, because they trust people will trust them, like, oh my god, these are wise people, these are so rational, they know what they're doing, they're experts, and they will trust them to make the economic decisions. My philosophy is that no, don't give the decisions to a few elites. Just give people liberty. Give them, let the markets decide. That's how I see it. But I do agree with you. It should be based on rationality, but the rationality that comes from the wisdom of the crowd, not a few elites.
Yes, the elites did terrible in China, did terrible in the Soviet Union, and that liberty to have your individual rights, property and trade, like those rights to individual rights, individual freedoms, individual liberty, individual right to property and trade as you wish. That's very, very important, paramount. I'm glad you explained it like better than I did, like in that specific detail on the liberty aspect, because I completely agree. That's kind of where I was going with it. Thank you.
Yeah, no. We complete each other. This is great. By the way, guys, we got so many super chats that I haven't responded to. I just want to make sure we get through these videos, and then I'll go to the super chats. Okay. Thank you for the support.
Anticipating your big announcement on Thursday night regarding election machines and integrity, can you give us sort of a sneak peek about what to expect and tell
Well,
the
I'd
audience
rather
in
save
America?
it. It will concern that subject, and we'll have a couple of other things to
Why
say
should people
also.
watch, though?
But I'd rather save it, but it's really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday is it doesn't get bigger, because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too, but it's going to be a very big announcement. Yeah.
Okay, so we have to look out for that's going to be a big deal. What do you think it's going to talk about? It's going to be talking about Iran, probably.
No.
Right?
No,
what is
like he has a big announcement plan, but what he said that was about was like you're talking about Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what he's going to talk about is the stolen 2020 election. They have a lot of evidence that they're looking into, and there might have been a lot of outside influence, and that may be relevant now. And I don't know how relevant it is specifically to Iran, but it is very important to discuss all these revelations before the midterms. It is important to have all the evidence out before midterms, and I think that's what's about to happen.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay, interesting. That's going to be a big deal.
I think
Okay.
it's going to force the Save America Act to pass, and I think it's going to help against our disenfranchisement. Like Latinos and Black people are being disenfranchised for turning to Trump, and that's why the places where Latinos and Black people, people of color, all kind of legal immigrants, were being disenfranchised by allowing all these illegal aliens to come in and vote without an ID. We do believe there's massive fraud. It's been revealed all over. We have a lot of evidence, video evidence of how they do it, and I don't like disenfranchisement. The people who cry most about disenfranchisement are the people that do it the most, especially to the people that they claim to protect. These people are claiming to protect Black people and immigrants. That's exactly who they are disenfranchising. Latinos tend to be very conservative, but if you're willing to come illegally just to get some benefits, you're probably willing to get an ID you're not supposed to get. They're just handing driver's licenses to everybody and try to vote, even though you don't have a voter ID and you don't have papers that you should be here. So I think that the disenfranchisement that the Democrats, mind you, who lost the Civil War, started the Ku Klux Klan, created Jim Crow and segregation, forcefully sterilized us until the 70s, then switched marketing to claim they were our protectors. These are the people who are now telling us we're too dumb to get an ID, so people should be able to vote without an ID. I think this was massive in 2020.
Okay. So let's go back to other President Trump's other comments. Let me actually show this one. I know we might have this part. The caption on this is caught my attention. So let me listen to this part. But the caption, look at this. He's saying, now, President Trump is bringing up Iraq's massive oil reserves in the Oval Office as Iran panics about the world circumventing the Strait of Hormuz through upcoming pipelines. No other leader has transformed the Middle East like 47. So, this is actually a good point because everybody's saying like, oh, President Trump is not going to attack because of the oil reserves being down. This is actually great timing to become this close to Iraq because Iraq could do a lot in maybe providing more cushion for President Trump to be able to have his hands untied when it comes to military operations against the Islamic Republic. I don't know. Somebody has to crunch the numbers to see how big of an effect that is. So I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to say it's a big effect or not. How much that would untie his hands. These things need to be like calculated, but this might be actually a big deal. So let me play this.
A little bit with you, but they have tremendous oil reserves. They have tremendous potential wealth, and they have tremendous wealth, not only potential. But he's done in a short period of time, he's changed that country so much, especially toward their thinking about the United States. And we have partnerships. Chris was just saying we have tremendous oil partnerships all of a sudden being formed over the last short period of time. And I guess you're going to be announcing them this week or next week, but massive, among the largest. So they have done a fantastic job over the last very short period of time. But they have a great leader, the new prime minister. He's a great leader. I think he's going to be there for a long period of time. And it's great to have you at the.
So, I love that he's a banker. I love that he was a banker before this, because that means that he has a lot of experience in tracking money and a lot of experience, tracking money of the Islamic Republic to his proxies, to the proxies of, in Iraq. And also when it comes to actually making good deals with the United States and, providing a win-win situation. A banker knows how to do that. He has a background to figure out how to do good deals.
I mean, if Iraq wants to get its, you see, there's a big problem here, because right now Iraq has to go by Iran to get its oil out. Like if we're just looking at the map, right? Like it would be very important for them to have Iran not block that strait. They can't have that Iran having that power. Like I would understand why would they would be all in on not allowing Iran to block it, because they have, I don't know how to say this. There's a river here where they could get oil out. There's I'm looking at the map here, and when you look at the map, I can see why they wouldn't want Iran to have anything to do with controlling that strait. And from a banking perspective, from an oilman perspective, this would be a big problem. So I can understand why they're all in and why they could have such great prosperity and stability if the IRGC is removed and a more stable, a government was in place.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to this one. Oh my God, so many important statements are coming from the White House right now. This one, hold on. Is this the one? They shot first. Yes, this one.
They couldn't do it. They didn't like something.
So President Trump's talking about the Islamic Republic, saying they shot first. Okay.
They couldn't do it. They didn't like something about the deal. They couldn't do it. And they shot first. And that was a big mistake that they shot first, because we have been knocking the hell out of them.
And then this one, Trump, I was called by different people, different countries. Okay, yes, this one.
It wasn't important for us, but it was important for allies. It was important for people that we get along with very well, including the major Gulf state countries. So I put it out yesterday. I thought it was good. I was called by different people, different countries, kings and emirs, and all of the people that we all know and we all love. And they've been very strong partners. And they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars and continue our record setting, because there's never been a time like this with the United States with the fact.
So one thing that you have to be careful about these Arab countries promising President Trump that they're going to be investing billions of dollars, their words is worth nothing, right? Like these Arab countries around the Persian Gulf, they have made so many promises about investments, and so many of it has been exaggeration. So just be mindful of that they promise you so much and a lot of it doesn't happen. I mean, they can't even hold the promises that they made to themselves. I mean, go just look at the Neon project right now in Saudi Arabia. What's happening to that? So just know, as long as President Trump has something to, I know this is psychological warfare. So as long as President Trump could show we're going to get something out of them. But just know that these Arab countries, do not try, never, when they come and say we're going to do this. Yeah, that's not worth anything until it happens, unless it happens.
It could have an
Just
effect
trust
on
what-
the markets.
Yeah, I mean, the markets
There's deals happening here, there's investment here. It would have to be more specific, though.
Yeah, I mean, the markets are actually smarter than a lot of people give them credit for. The market got fooled. The markets the market takes into account that other people getting fooled and maybe able to adjust based on that, but it itself doesn't really get fooled. At least not in the long term. Maybe over a day or two, but then it quickly adjusts.
You need more specific details on where this investment is going.
Yes. But let me see. Which one is this one? This one is President Trump talking about Lindsey Graham.
Are you aware of why the FBI is looking into Senator Graham's death? Have you gotten any updates on why they were at his home?
Well, I don't know why, because I think, he had a problem. His father had a very similar problem, as you know. It's very unique. At first, I heard it was clogged arteries, because he did have clogged arteries. He had a problem with that. He was, I wish he took better care of himself. I say, you can solve that problem, but what happened is actually something that's very hard to detect. It was not related to any blockage. It was a totally different thing. And supposedly, and I've watched all the medical reports, I've had the doctors from the White House come in and explain what happened. And this is something that is almost undetectable. And if it happens, there's not much you can do about it. It sounds unfortunate, but there's not much you can do about it. If you look at his father died of the same thing at about the same age. So there was not much. They say it's almost undetectable. You can detect it by if you have a very bad back. That's a sign. It's a bad sign. So if anybody has a bad back, it's a pretty rough thing to think about. But the fact that's one of the primary signs. And he would tell me he had a bad back. But little did anyone realize it was for that. So, and when that bursts, which it did, it burst. There's not much. So I don't see a lot of evil there. I know there's all sorts of conspiracy theories going along, and I don't think the FBI. I think the FBI is wasting their time if they're doing that.
So I like how President Trump is against conspiracy theories. I like that. A lot of people believe, just quickly jump on that bandwagon, and I like it if President Trump encourages people. By the way, guys, me saying something is a conspiracy theory doesn't mean that it's not true, because it just means that you should only believe it when you have evidence for it. I never rule anything out. But you should, just because I don't rule it out, it doesn't mean I should take it seriously, right? Ruling something out, not ruling something out is not the same as taking it seriously, right? But sometimes people just believe something without any evidence, and you're like, well, where's your evidence? And they come at you and like, well, can you say that this is not the case? Like, no, it's possible, but I'm not going to take it seriously unless I see some evidence for it.
Look, me in the chat, we're gonna get our backs checked because we all have this. Everyone in the chat is screaming, "Oh my God, my back!" Oh, that's exactly. Look at BT, son of a bitch. My back, my anxiety doesn't need this. We're all having backache, so we're all gonna get ourselves checked. No, I'm just joking. No, but just to be on the serious side, I'm not against the FBI clarifying this and say, look, we looked at this. Everybody wanted to know, so we looked, and by what we see, this is exactly what the same thing that happened to his father. Just for the clarification of it, like I would allow them. Like he says they're wasting their time. I would grant them. Hey, maybe they're just going to try to clarify it for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yes. And then the Russia sanctions. So Lindsey was really trying to get the Russia sanction bill passed, and that's why he was in Ukraine. That's partly why he was in Ukraine. And now President Trump is talking about they're going to pass it in honor of Lindsey Graham.
Sir, do you want this Russia sanctions bill signed within the next week or two, and will you sign it?
Well, I know that Lindsey wanted it very badly. I think they may be adding Iran to it. They're going to add Iran, which is a very big thing. If they did that, they may add Hezbollah too. Just put them if you do business with Hezbollah. So we're looking at that, but they're seriously.
Why is Hezbollah not already sanctioned like that? I don't understand that.
And this is in honor of Lindsey. This was his thing. He wanted this more than any other thing. You know how he felt. And there's a good chance that it gets done. But they'd like to add Iran, and they'd like to add Hezbollah to it. That's what I'm hearing. So.
And if that means secondary sanctions on China, India, Europe,
we'll have to look. That hasn't been discussed.
Okay, so not the CCP. And then here's a question that they're asking they're asking him if he regrets lifting the naval blockade or giving the sanctions waiver. So because now it seems like they're saying that it's not working, the MOU is not working, the negotiations are not working. So they're asking him if he regrets even doing it.
Given how the Iranians have been behaving, do you have any regrets about lifting the naval blockade or giving the sanctions waivers?
No, I gave them a chance. I wanted to give them a chance at making a deal. We had a deal 2 days ago. It was done.
I mean, it's good for the whole world to see that these people cannot be negotiated with. It needs to be demonstrated.
And then all of a sudden, they couldn't do it. They didn't like something about the deal. They couldn't do it. And they shot first. And that was a big mistake that they shot first, because we have been knocking the hell out of them. They're very difficult people. 47 years we put up with it. The SS Cole, you go back all the way, thousands of people, thousands of Americans were killed, a lot of soldiers were killed. A lot of soldiers are walking around or not walking around. I mean, they've been so badly injured. The arms, the legs, the face, with the Soleimani, with the bomb. They call it the roadside bomb. Most people call it the roadside bomb. It's a disaster. And I killed him in my first administration. Had I not, it might be a different story today. He was a mad genius. He was probably a madman, but he was a general, and he had total control over the country. And I actually think the leaders of Iran were afraid of Soleimani. But I killed him. And by the way, with him went a very bad person also. They happened to be meeting each other at the airport. And a very bad person from Iraq happened to be a leader of Iraq, happened to be killed in that same incident. So I don't know if I did you a favor or not. I've never asked you that question. You probably would know better than me. But no, I think that what we've done to Iran is we've taken away almost all of their military capability.
And what do you think about the not having regret regarding the blockade?
There's many reasons for the blockade to end.
Your audio went lower.
There's many reasons. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There's many reasons for the blockade not to end. For the blockade to end, like the reason we stopped, like, you know, he's not going to say it because it wouldn't be wise to say it, but these troops are humans. These aren't robots. They would need to rotate out. If there is an MOU in place and we are giving them a chance, we're also giving ourselves a chance to rest, resupply. So, you know, this is multi-layered. This isn't just, well, we gave them a chance. There's many layers to this. So that needs to be taken into account. You're not just like, oh, you know, playing patty cake with them or whatever. This is not the reality. The reality, what that has been observed is that we did rotate some ships out. We did restock some supplies. That's the reality.
Yeah.
There were many things happening.
By the way, we have some updates, right? So we already saw earlier that Kuwait, we had attacks in Kuwait. We also show you some ballistic missiles coming down in Bahrain. Now we're seeing explosions in Khuzestan province in Iran. So United States, right, guys, as we're speaking, United States is attacking the IRGC bases and, you know, towers and launchers and their boats and everything in Iran as we're speaking. So 53 minutes ago, we had some attacks in Khuzestan province in Iran by the Americans. And then we also had some in Mesen and Qesh power plant. Explosions were heard in Mesen and Qesh power plant. And there is a partial power outage in the Qesh city at the moment. So this is the Hormuzgan province in Iran. And then what is this update? Kuwaiti armed forces currently intercepting hostile attacks. This is happening, guys, right now as we're speaking. The Kuwaiti armed forces are intercepting hostile attacks on the country. And the public is warned not to touch or film debris. And then 13 minutes ago, it says regarding claims in some channels on explosions in Tabriz and Shiraz. This is false. No blast in Tabriz and Shiraz. If that was the case, that would be significant. Tabriz and Shiraz are not southern Iran. It's like higher up. I mean, Shiraz is a little bit south, but much more north than there are recent places that are getting attacked. So that would be significant. And that's apparently false news. Yesterday, I was on the news. They asked my opinions about all of this, and I just wanted to play that for you guys because I wanted to see what you guys think about my answer. First of all, let me know if I did good. I was on OAN, and let me know if my answer is a good answer, and let me know if I did well on the news. Okay, so this is only a 2-minute clip. Let's watch this, and then we'll go to your super chats after.
So much has been taking place in Iran. What comes next? What do you expect to see the U.S. do now that Iran has again launched strikes against commercial vessels?
Well, the United States needs to show that there's consequences for violating their agreement. It would look very weak if the United States doesn't respond strongly. I know that they already have their own timetable, and at some point, major conflict again between United States and the Islamic Republic is inevitable. But I do also understand that the whole point of the MOU was to just buy some time. And both sides kind of needed some time, and the United States prefers to do this on their own schedule. But again, given how the Islamic Republic continues to violate their even I know the agreement wasn't enforceable anyways and was just more marketing than an illegal document. But at the same time, United States does need to demonstrate globally that there are major consequences. And I'm hearing that there might be a ground invasion. Maybe they take over Clark Island. Maybe they're just doing that to show that there might be consequences to bring the Islamic Republic back to the negotiating table, making them fear the consequences. But I think there needs to be globally, the United States needs to demonstrate that they mean business when somebody crosses their red lines. And I think right now that one of the most important things that Lindsey Graham kept on telling President Trump and everyone else that needs to be done right now is the option of arming the Iranian people against the Islamic Republic needs to be back on the table. Unfortunately, with Lindsey Graham gone, this is not being discussed. I mean, I appreciate Mark Levin bringing that up constantly. But without Lindsey Graham, I don't know if anybody in DC is pushing for that. But I think if you want to put pressure on the Islamic Republic, that's the option that needs to be seriously considered, especially, and also that needs to be done under the direction and with the management of Prince Reza Pahlavi and his team. Last time the Americans tried to do that, they did it with the separatist groups, which was a disaster. And I think the only way this plan could be successful is if it's done with Prince Reza Pahlavi and his team. But that's the main thing I think the Americans need to, it's the most cost-efficient way to put pressure on the Islamic Republic. All right, how is that?
I think you touched on some of the things that I was talking about. I think you did fantastic. Like I think you're getting better and better at this. Like fine wine, getting better with time.
Oh, thank you, guys. Good. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Steve. Okay, fantastic. I also took that advantage of the opportunity to mention Princess Pahlavi and arming the Iranian people. So, because I think that needs to be talked about more. Okay, you guys agree? Okay, great job. Thank you, guys. People are saying great job. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. All right, let's actually go to the super chats. We got. Okay, so. And also some other comments that were starred. Shauna with a super chat. Thank you, Shauna, saying he is simply wrong. Trump administration is building so many new jobs with AI that we are on the precipice of an American renaissance. Yes, who's wrong? Yeah, but I agree with you, Shauna. I don't know Monkey, do you remember when this was? Because I agree
it's probably Fuentes.
Oh, Fuentes. Okay, yes. Yeah, guys, people think United States is strong now. They are not ready for what United States is about to become. So people think like the gap between United States economy, military power, and cultural influence and other countries is so great right now. And so many people think that this gap is going to get closed. They have no idea what's about to come. The United States is in the best position compared to any other country to take advantage of the current fourth industrial revolution. The AI and robotics race. What you need for this new chapter of history that we're in two ways. We're moving into a new chapter of history. We're entering the second Cold War, and we're in the middle. We're at the beginning phases of the fourth industrial revolution. And the United States has everything, almost everything it needs to take maximum advantage of both of these changes. And the gap between the United States and all the other countries is going to widen. It's going to be so much bigger than it is right now. Everybody is going to rise, but the United States is going to rise more. The amount of capital. Yeah,
she's confirming in the chat. Thank you.
Yes. The amount of capital you need to be able to fully take advantage of this could only United States has that. And thank you, Shauna. Thank you for the opportunity for us to say that. And then we have Roman Cabbage. Love that username always, saying you guys should react to Nux on Iran or Islam. Yes.
So Nuxanor has two channels. One of them is Nux Taku, where he breaks down his longer show into short sections, and then there's Nuxanor where he does the long form content. Like I have said this before, but Nuxanor is kind of like my hero. He's the person that said, "Look, you don't have to like be out there and show your face. If you have something to say, get your voice out there in any way you can." Like he's the Blue Jew. I'm a monkey. Like, this doesn't impede like the facts of what I'm saying from being true, my opinion of having some value. Between his example and Armin's encouragement, that is the reason I'm here. So I am a great supporter of Nux, and he's been greatly demonetized by the algorithms and YouTube, and we don't want that to happen to us, but we also want to support the people that have had this happen to them. I think it had something with him talking about the stuff in UK and the grooming stuff. So my heart goes out to him, you know, for he likes to say that as for a Jewish person to be on YouTube without being monetized, it's almost a crime. Like, you have to profit. What's going on here? He likes to joke about that, but I think he's a great person. He has been a guest of Armin and Goldie, and I thank them for hosting him because I've been watching him for many years. So thank you.
Yeah. I talked to him once, and I really liked him.
He's cool.
Yeah. Veteran Hoffman, again, thank you for your service, sir. With a super chat saying the war on the Islamic Republic has been going on since 1979. Yes, and 1980. Trump is just finishing it, in my opinion. Your opinion is 100% correct. People think that this war just got started. This war was not started by the United States. This war is now, President Trump is trying to end a war that started 47 years ago. But
He's fulfilling a promise. He promised to end wars, and this is one of the wars he's ending.
Yes, the Islamic Republic officially declared war against the United States in 1979, promising that they would destroy. Not only did they promise that they will bring war, that they're going to keep waging war against the United States, they promised that they will destroy the United States completely at some point, take over the United States, make it completely Islamic, a complete takeover. And ever since then, every single day they chant death to America. They call Israel the little Satan, United States the big Satan. The reason why they're anti-Israel is because Israel is in the way for them to get to United States. That's what they say, right? They have killed more Americans than any other currently existing regime. So this is a 47-year war. People who say that, oh, President Trump started a war, he was supposed to not start any wars, they don't understand what they're talking about. This war started 47 years ago, and President Trump is trying to finally, there's a president that is trying to respond and end the war, this 47-year war, 48 now, actually. And thank you so much for the super chat. Sayed with a super chat saying, please, oh my God. Sayed, you give us a super chat and you use it to tell people to like the stream. Thank you. Look at this. Saying, please smash that like button, guys and gals. Thank you. And circles. Say it. Don't forget circles. We're very inclusive in this channel, right, Monkey?
I would only add to that and appreciate the super chat. Leave a comment. Comments are appreciated to help guide our content. The algorithms really like it. They show engagement with the content. So let's say you're not watching this live, and we're talking to you in the future. You person in the future watching this at a later time, leave a comment. Tell us what you think.
All right. But what about circles? Do you agree with that?
I like circles.
Yes.
It depends on what is the circular thing.
Yes. Okay. But not triangles. We're not that inclusive. We all have our limits. Yes. And thank you, Sayed. Thank you for the super chat and for the encouragement for people to like the stream. Yeah, guys, please like the stream. It does help us grow. Shauna, thank you so much for the super chat saying Rubio speaks Spanish, but Trump speaks Arabic. True. Guys, if people don't understand what this means, because Trump, when it comes to negotiations, he uses the same tactics that Arabs use in negotiations. So that's why Shauna is saying that's true. So that's why he knows how to deal with these people, because he speaks their language. And yes, guys, praise be to Allah. Exactly.
And thank you.
Thank you. So you start this. I think Bobby was asking, does this help free Iran? So I think what you're referring to
Iraq.
Iraq. Yeah, so what this is referring to. Yeah. Okay. You go ahead.
Yes, I started this. This was happening during the time we were talking about Iraq. How does Trump meeting with the prime minister, president of Iraq, help free Iran? It does greatly. When during the ceasefire, we had operations in Lebanon and operations with intelligence operations with the Iraqi, well, basically the police, their administration, and they discovered so much IRGC connected fraud, and this fraud would have been going to proxies, and those proxies would have been supporting the IRGC. They might have gone in to help, clamp down on any unrest and participate in slaughter. So yes, this definitely does help free Iran.
So yeah, and it's actually even bigger than that because, guys, the Islamic Republic has only 3 deterrence capabilities left, 3 main ones, right? That is, one, it's the Strait of Hormuz, and I mean it's not as big of a deal as they wanted to, but still. The other one is the enriched uranium, and the third one is the proxies, otherwise known as terrorists, right?
That's one of the bad triangles.
Yes. That's yeah, you're right. That's why we're against triangle. And the proxies, the 3 main remaining ones are basically Hashd al-Shabi and other Shia groups in Iraq. So Iraq, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis or Ansarullah basically in Yemen. So in Iraq, in Lebanon, and in Yemen. These are the 3 main proxy groups, main ones. I mean, there are others, but these are the 3 main ones left in Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen. So
another bad triangle.
Yes, another bad triangle. And during this negotiation, ceasefire, not so ceasefire, President Trump has been very busy defanging the Islamic Republic, especially when it comes to these proxies. In Lebanon, we get the peace deal between the Lebanese government and Israel and United States, which is going to help the IDF be able to push back against Hezbollah. I mean, either with or without the help of the Lebanese government, Lebanese army, whether that they're successful or not. Still, that was a huge win for Israel. Right now, the Houthis are being pounded by the Saudi Arabia. I mean, yesterday they were. I don't know if it's continuing or not. We'll get an update on that. But the biggest win now has been in Iraq. This is what you're witnessing here is disarming the Islamic Republic in Iraq. Look at each one of these as the shields of the Islamic Republic, because whenever you have leverage, that means you could poke at people if they come for you, right? So if you have leverage in Iraq, in Lebanon, and in Yemen, then that means that if you get attacked, you could poke other people for them to stop. So if you get attacked, if the Houthis are your proxy, then you could close Bab al-Mandab, and then the people have to be worried about the consequences of attacking you. If Iraq is under your control, then you have leverage in Iraq, so people have to worry about the consequences of attacking you. So what President Trump is doing is, by taking Iraq out of the sphere of influence of the Islamic Republic and bringing it into the sphere of influence of the United States, is taking that leverage away from the Islamic Republic, which means that it's taking one of its deterrence capabilities from the Islamic Republic, which means that it's defanging the Islamic Republic. So yes, this makes the Islamic Republic weaker, and that means that it will become easier for us to get closer to toppling the Islamic Republic and liberate the Iranian people. So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And Sayed, thank you for the super chat, saying for the goal and confetti. Thank you so much, Sayed. Always supporting us. Very sweet. Thank you. And always so kind. Thank you. And then, Monkey, you start this, so you want to go ahead?
Okay, starting fresh, I was saying that I think what President Trump is saying is that if he had been in charge, he would have addressed the Islamic Republic of Iran, but hindsight is 2020. Exactly. Like, he's not taking necessarily a dig at the troops or what was done in those times. I think what he was trying to highlight is that we should have taken care of this problem before, and we have to do it now. Like, he did make a promise, no new wars, but he did promise to end wars. He wants to be the president of peace. He wants to end a lot of wars. And if you end the IRGC, you end a lot of wars, right? It opens the possibility for peace in many places.
Yeah, guys, historically, so here's what some people think you bring peace. People think that you bring peace by signing agreements, by negotiating with terrorists, by signing deals and MOUs, and appeasement of people who wage war against you. That historically, empirically, we could show that that's not how you bring peace. That is not how you bring peace. You bring peace by you bring peace by destroying your enemies. You bring peace by killing the people who bring war. You annihilate the terrorists. You don't negotiate with them. I mean, you negotiate with them if you want to do. You pretend to negotiate with them if you want to do play mind games with them. But the goal of negotiations would be to set up the situation where you actually end up destroying them. This is not a matter of opinion. Historically, you could see. I mean, just compare World War One with World War II. Like World War One did not lead to long-lasting peace. That's why they call it World War One, right? Because the reason why it didn't bring long-lasting peace is because it was settled with agreements and signing and surrender and stuff like that. It didn't destroy the agents of chaos. It didn't destroy the underlying reasons for the tension over there. But World War II did. World War II destroyed imperialist Japan. It destroyed the Nazis. It destroyed the enemies of peace and stability, and it brought with it long-lasting peace. Israel is a great demonstration. Every time Israel was forced by the international community to make peace and sign agreements with its enemies, the enemies came back stronger. The enemies of Israel came back stronger. Look at, for example, Israel gave to Gaza, gave to the terrorists Gaza. It left Gaza and allowed them to have them, and they become bigger and stronger. They became Hamas. They did October 7th. They became more powerful and more determined to destroy all Jews and all Israelis. But every time Israel crushed its enemies, destroyed its enemies, then when they came to the table, they didn't sign a peace agreement. They signed a surrender agreement because they had nothing to fight with anymore. You don't make peace with your enemies. You destroy your enemies. That's how you bring long-lasting peace. And this is empirically has been studied.
Do you remember the children's tale about negotiating with terrorists? The one about the scorpion and the frog?
No.
Have you ever heard it?
No.
The Scorpion and the Frog is a story about a scorpion and a frog want to get across the river. And the scorpion says, hey, usually I would attack you, but we have to get across this river. So let me jump on your back and you swim me to the other side. And that when we get to the other side, everything will be fine, right? And he says, well, you're a scorpion. You're just going to stab me in the back if I let you ride on my back. He says, no, because if I stab you in the back, we're both going to drown. And that's not logical. Let me jump on your back so I can get across this river. And once we're on the other side, everything will be fine. So the frog says, okay, that seems logical. Lets the scorpion jump on its back. Halfway across the river, the scorpion stings the toad, stabs it in the back. And the toad starts getting poisoned. Says, what are you doing? We're both going to die. Yeah, but I'm a scorpion. It's in my nature. Why are you doing this? I'm a scorpion. That's what I do. It's like you can't trust people. You can't trust terrorists. You can't negotiate with terrorists. It's like the scorpion and the toad. This is a very popular American story. Most Americans in the chat know this story, and I think Europeans also know this story. But I think it's a great allegory for teaching about negotiating with terrorists.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to use that. That's a good one. Shauna just gave us a super chat saying, but Armin, what about BRICS? Okay. What about BRICS? What if that hurts us? Oh, you're trolling. Okay. So guys, BRICS and their, attempt to make a currency is an absolute joke. BRICS is the most, pathetic, as of right now, the most pathetic economic union of countries. I mean, look at those letters, okay? That I over there stands for India, and this one of those C's stands for China. I don't think India and China get along. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are they going to make a currency with each other that is going to compete with the US dollars? You know what was the best currency to compete with the US dollars? With the US dollars is the euro. Euro was the best currency. Okay, because these countries that the European Union, these countries came from the same background with the same culture, and they had stable financial institutions and big markets. So if any currency could have competed with the US dollar, it would have been euro, and it didn't. It wasn't able to. It wasn't able to. So imagine if euro could not compete with the USD. Do you think India and China, with their difference in culture and all of their infighting and their command economy of China, the command economy of China, and their weaponization of their currency and their economy will provide you enough faith in a currency that they will provide that could compete with the US dollar? Like, come on, this is the biggest joke in economic history, in my opinion. If anybody seriously suggests that to you, they have no idea what they're talking about.
The only way these countries are gonna form BRICS is with Legos. Economically, it's impossible. Maybe they could get together and build a little Lego house with bricks. That's the only bricks that's ever gonna work for them. And she knew she was gonna get you on a rant. So I want to thank Shauna for this wonderful rant from Armin. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, this was on purpose for you triggered me. Thank you. All right, George with the super chat saying, out of the deal, he does it every time he makes. Okay, this is a Trump thing. Monkey, this is for you, I think.
Part of the deal, I do it every time. I make big demands and allow a counteroffer and accept a win-win situation. I turn 20% fee into long-term investment into America. Thank you, George.
Thank you. Just don't trust them, though. Don't trust those Arab countries, okay? But yes, out of the deal. And thank you so much for the super chat. And then Father of Chaos. Thank you so much, Father of Chaos. Saying Durud Aziz. Oh my God, look at that. Because Aziz means like dear in Persian. Durud Azizam. Okay. Just came into to show support. Just came to show support. Taking the day off. Haven't missed a minute of Armin, Ali, or Monkey in 5 days. Wow, thank you for this. Father of Chaos is so sweet. I really appreciate. He was also in our discussion group earlier, which I should actually have prepared so I can show it to you guys later. And also Monkey's channel and everything. I will have that already. And yes, thank you.
I would also say I caught a show this morning that I liked very much. I saw Guy. Guy's back in the roster.
Ooh.
He's a good guy.
Yes.
He's a great guy talking about interesting stuff. You should also check out Guy. And I want to thank you for your support, of course. Thank you very much.
Yes. You know what? I should just create like all the list of the channels in the description, because instead of like subscribe to this channel and that channel and that channel, I should just have them list in the description so that we could get through them. And thank you, Father of Chaos. And then Fleshy Interloper, thank you so much for the super chat. Saying, oh, Monkey, why you're angry? Are you angry on purpose? Or is it an accident? Okay, it was an accident.
It was an accident.
It was an accident. I was like, oh my God.
I keep rebinding it and it won't rebind. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was like, oh no, Monkey's angry. Angry Monkey. What did I do? Fleshy Interloper saying 20% of nothing is nothing. Open the effing straight. Yes, open the Strait. Exactly. So Felicia Interloper is like watching the Strait every day, counting the tankers one by one and creating reports of it in our discussion group. So he's very invested in the Strait. Yeah.
Yes, you can join the discussion group with that QR code. I think it's also in the description of the channel. And if you go there, you go to schools, you can catch Fleshy Interloper's reports on the Strait. They're very informative, and we always like to thank him for it.
Yeah. So guys, if you look at our discussion group. And we have a group call coming in about two hours, right? From now, we're going to have a group call soon. Oh, which is open, guys. Today, our group call is open to all. So that means it's free. It's free for everybody. So let me actually put the link to our group call in the chat so you guys could join us. We have group calls every day, and today is free for everybody. Once every 3 days, it's free for everybody to join, and today is one of them. And so the group calls are in the calendar section, right? You can see it in the calendar section over here. But this community page is also free for everybody to come and comment. And if you scroll down here, oh, look, this is it. Fleshy Interloper with one of his reports and the graphs and everything. Like, there you go. So he always posts those. But yeah, you guys can see in the community tab, every day, people are discussing politics. But the group calls are in the calendar section. and you could find them over here. Anyways, we got, and yeah, in the QR code, you could also find it in the QR code in the top left. Fleshy Interloper with another super chat saying the calamari is going well. Proxies are cooked. Yes, guys. So because we're cutting the tentacles of the Islamic Republic by taking out the proxies, Fleshy Interloper is calling it the calamari strategy, which is, I think, is very fitting. And then we got another super chat by Tanya saying, how insane to think this all started that horrible day of October 7th. Yes. As a wife of a wounded soldier and living on northern border of Israel, I hope this frees the Iranian people. Wow. First of all, first and foremost, thank your husband. Please, on our behalf, on behalf of all of us here, please say that everybody here at Liberty Politics want to thank you, you and your husband, for your service, and your entire family for your service. Thank you so much for your sacrifice. Thank you for protecting not just Israel, but also the whole world. Israel is standing guard, not just between these terrorists and Israel, but between these terrorists and the rest of the world. So the whole world owes you, your husband and your entire family, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for everything you do. And you know, October 7th, this all starting with October 7th is honestly a repetition of Israel always coming back stronger every time. Every time they hurt Israel comes back stronger than before. So all of this happening after October 7th is just a repetition of what we've seen before, of Israel getting hit significantly and people thinking that its days are numbered, but then Israel comes back and it just destroys its enemies and anybody who dared hurt it like that. And hopefully, and I appreciate. Just one last thing. Sorry, I appreciate you saying that. You're saying that you hope the Iranian people will get free. Like, I see so much love from Israelis to Iranian people, and as an Iranian, I also want to say I hope Israel gets to a point where they never, ever have to go in their bunkers or take shelter from the Islamic Republic. So when we get free, means that you know, this is going to be a story that you tell your children and your grandchildren as things that you had to deal with before. I hope at one point you all have complete and absolute peace and never have to deal with this ever again. And I think the fall of the Islamic Republic will be the beginning of that. Go on, Monkey.
I was going to say, this is one of the reasons I'd like to point out how many lives is saved by us giving a discount on weapons to Israel. There is this great lie that we're sending these bags of money to Israel. That's not happening at all. They get a discount on our weapons. They get a discount on F-35s. Honestly, about them and Japan is the only people, the only nations I would even consider having those, because what this does is, by helping you defend yourself, it saves us from having to go over there and protect our interests, because we have interest in common and there is a common unity and a common goals. By us helping you defend yourself, it does save American lives, and sometimes that's not taken into account. And lies by people like Fuentes and people like Cenk Uygur, if we want to go to the both extremes, are something that's destroying the reality that is the good relationship we have. And I appreciate it. And I always like to point out, look, this is just a discount. All right, we're giving them 10 to 15% discount, and they're sending us billions of dollars when they buy weapons. Like, we're not at a loss at all. We can't sell this to anyone else. Who are we going to sell it to? We shouldn't sell it to anyone else. Maybe Japan.
Right. So we're about to go, but guys, first of all, I have another video to show you guys. But before I show it to you guys, just remember that we have a discussion group, and today our discussion group is free to everybody. That means that everybody could join, everybody could come and talk to me and Monkey and other people there. I'll put the link in the chat. The link is also in the description. The link is also in the QR code. Monkey is angry again for some reason. Is that an accident? Monkey's angry. Okay, there we go. It's an accident. And then, guys, the link is also in the bio section of Liberty Politics YouTube channel. And guys, make sure you subscribe to Liberty Politics as well. We go live, more than 10 hours a day, every day here. So make sure you subscribe to catch us on. So there are multiple, like you have so many options on when to watch us live because we go live all the time. So come to Liberty Politics and subscribe there. And also subscribe to the monkey. I'll put the link to the monkey's channel in the chat as well. A monkey, there we go.
A stream goal, I want to get to 660. I think that's a viable goal. Maybe for the day we could get to 675. Maybe that's a possibility. But a stream goal, maybe 4 more. Maybe if I can get 4 more, that'll be a good goal for the stream.
Okay, and then hold on, we got another super chat. But before I get to the super chat, I wanted to show you this video that Iranian people are outside in the U.S. waving American flag, and Lindsey Graham. So Iranians, just like us Israelis, love Lindsey Graham, and we mourn him. Iranians, just like us Israelis, love America and President Trump. A free Iran would be Israel and America's greatest ally in the world. And I don't think I could play this with the sound. Yep, that's a copyrighted song, so I'm not going to play the song. But stop it! I just muted it. There we go. So yeah, these are Iranians in the U.S.
Nice flowers there. They look like roses.
Celebrating Lindsey Graham with the Lion and Sun flag, with America's flag, with the Lion and Sun flag of Iran, the true flag of Iran. Just want to show that to you guys. And people in the chat are saying Javid Shah. Americans and Israelis are saying Javid Shah. That's very sweet. So we got another super chat. You want to read this one, Monkey?
U.S. and Israel may wait till mid-August. Extreme heat and wet bulb conditions would weaken Iran's infrastructure and regime. Low fresh air, aerial raid, and people on roads. YouTube videos. Islam is about to get cooked alive. Okay, so this is more pertaining to weather. I don't know if we're still in sandstorm season. I know that would be a deterrent from ground operations, or that would be important, and air operations, because sand does get into engines. But I'm not that cognizant of the weather patterns. What would you think about this, Armin?
I don't know. I don't have any expertise in this. I see a lot of people saying that, but I don't know much about this. We have to look into it.
Thank you for letting us know about that. I'll try to look into it also. Appreciate you.
And thank you. So this was by I'm Betuz. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Yes. So yep, guys, me and Mikey are gonna go get ready for we're gonna go get a break, eat some food, and then get ready for our group call in our discussion group. So don't miss it, okay? And that's us. And where's the monkey? Oh my God, lost the monkey. I found the monkey. All right, guys. So we'll see you soon in our group. And guys, we also gonna be live streaming it on Liberty Politics. Okay, we're gonna be live streaming. So if you don't want to join our group call, just subscribe to Liberty Politics and hit the bell notification so that when we go live, you could watch our discussion over there. All right, we're gonna be talking about all the events that are happening in general politics globally as well. So yeah, see you there. And until then, I'm Israel Chai. Slava Ukrainian. Cuba Libre. Long live America. Javid Shah. Payande.
Iran.
See you guys soon.